Hey everybody, it's Vince August. It's Friday, May 29th, and don't exactly feel like being funny today because there's a lot of things happening in the news. One in particular that I want to try to make sense of, and what I always do and what I always try to do is I try to tell people, listen, although it's not always possible to do it, you have to at least make an attempt to put yourself in someone else's shoes. And I want to start by just giving you a background story, and maybe this will help you understand. I was a municipal court judge in South Hackensack for 6 years. I did criminal defense for all my years before that, which was about 13 years, and I've been doing criminal defense and family law and other things since. And one of the days I was on the bench, there was a black man who came up who was a defendant, and he worked out a plea, and he came before me and he pled guilty, and I gave him his fines, and he walked over and he paid at the window, and he came back into the courtroom and said, Judge, do you mind if I say something? And normally after you try to give somebody a good deal and the minimums and everything else, it's like, oh no, what is this person going to say to ruin this? And I said, of course, because I would never stop anyone from saying anything. And he said, Judge, I want to apologize. And I looked at him, I said, no. You don't need to apologize. You pled guilty. There's no need for apology. He goes, no, you don't understand. I want to apologize for something else. And I said, what? He said, this is my first time I've ever been in court. This is the first time I've ever dealt with the court system. He said, and I came in here, already having certain fears and trepidations about what court was like. And then I saw a bald white guy in a black robe and thought, oh boy, here we go. He goes, and you were really polite and kind. And, he goes, I want to apologize for misjudging you and misjudging what this was. And I was really taken aback by that. And my immediate reaction was to thank him for that because, it gave me clarity in what he thought in coming in, and the fact that I was doing a good job made me feel good. But immediately afterwards, I felt bad because what I should have done is apologize to him. I should have apologized for the fact that what I do and what our system is made him feel even more fearful than what normally people feel going to court. I mean, because normally people are like, oh my God, what's going to happen to me? I'm going to lose my license. I'm going to get a fine. Imagine feeling that anxiety going to court, and then the immediate visual that you get of the judge scares you even more. Just because I'm a white guy, bald guy in a black robe. A lot of people don't know what that is. A lot of people don't know what that fear is. And we can never come to understand that, which is why, I want to try to make this as understandable as possible. Around the country, we've been on lockdown, and a lot of people have felt metaphorically like we're being choked financially, like we're being choked socially. And the response in Michigan was immediate anger, immediate outrage. And people, look, these are the images, in case you haven't seen them. Guys grabbed guns, went to Michigan, went to the state capitol building, and showed this is how angry we are. This is how ready we are. We're ready to resort to violence. Now, they did it, but the image that they wanted to get across of their frustration was they wanted to act violently. And that's after 60 days of lockdown and shutdown. And I understand that. And I understood their frustration. I didn't think the message was the right way to do it, but I understood it. Imagine feeling like that as part of your race and culture your entire life. Okay? Because see this image here? This is the feeling of a lifetime for Black Americans. See, that's, and one is, you have to understand the difference in what I just showed you. One is a feeling of metaphorically being choked and being restrained. The other actually took someone's life. And there's no justification for that. And I'm talking about this specific incident. And if you look at what's happening right now, whereas many people are outraged at looting and the violence and the burning and this and that, what I say to you is you have to understand how long of a buildup this has been. This is a lifetime of buildup. And you can't, if you're not a black person, you don't understand that lifetime of buildup. I mean, look, this is what 60 days of frustration did to people. Made them want to strap on a gun and show, look, this is what we're ready to do. Okay, so the reaction right now in Minnesota goes beyond it. And listen, let's not get into the statistics of, the cops and against white people. No, this is a feeling that you can't understand. And, maybe if I take it a step further, and again, I can only personalize this for me, and I apologize to anyone of color that's watching this if I'm doing this a misjustice. But, when I grew up in this country, I'm the son of Italian immigrants. We spoke Italian in the house. Okay, we were Italian in every possible way, and we got made fun of because of that. I was called Dago. I was called Guinea, Wop, Greaseball, all of that stuff growing up. I was viewed as Italian because we always spoke Italian. In fact, I had an accent growing up as a kid because my brothers were Italian, they grew up in Brooklyn. We got made fun of. I learned how to speak better English in school, and I'm still not that good at it, as you can tell. But, as I grew older and went to college and law school and became a lawyer, I went from being the immigrant to being a white guy. So even when I went into comedy, because I was a lawyer working for a criminal defense attorney, I was maybe one of the best in the country. When I had to hide my identity, I used my first name, middle name, Vince August, to hide my identity. See, I'm able to hide my identity. I'm able to hide my background and who I am simply by changing my name. People of color can't change their skin color. They are subject to who they are all the time. And you have to understand what that frustration is. Okay, so when you're watching what's happening right now, and I understand, why would you burn something down? But again, look, 60 days of lockdown. 60 days of lockdown and being metaphorically choked financially. And this is the feeling that black people have of actually being choked. It's not hard to see how it gets to this place. It's really not. Because, when it seems like nothing else works, that's what happens. It boils over. And I have to ask you this. Let's assume black people protested by showing up to the Minnesota police station looking like this. What do you think would have happened? What do you think would have happened? You think it would have been the same? You think they would have had the same treatment? Or do you think there would have been a different reaction to the police, by the police? So, look, we're in a very sensitive place right now. And what I'm telling people to do is just try to understand for a minute what it feels like to be someone else. You're never going to be able to put yourself in someone else's shoes. You're not going to. But instead of just having an automatic visceral reaction to what you're seeing and seeing buildings burning and thinking that's not the way to do it, there's a better way to do it. Not always. There isn't always a better way to do it. And look, we keep seeing these same images over and over. And for the police out there, I don't know a single cop I've talked to. I don't know anybody in law enforcement that defends this. No one. No one in the news is no one is defending what that officer did. But again, to see what's happening burning and say that's not the way to do it, you have to understand what was happening there. This took place over 6 minutes. Okay? Even if you hung someone and literally lynched someone, like used to happen in this country, that wouldn't take 6 minutes. And other people stood in uniform and watched. If that doesn't horrify you, I don't know what does. So, what I'm asking you to do is just try to understand before you react. Try to just think back for a second and say to yourself, look, you know what? Before I just react to what I'm seeing, let me look at this in the whole picture. Let me try to understand. You're never going to, but at least try. Look, I again, even as an Italian immigrant, I feel it to this day. On Sundays, I watch Italian soccer, and people don't understand that. People are like, you watch soccer from Italy on Sundays? Really? That's difficult for someone to understand culturally. If that's difficult to understand culturally, this is going to be impossible for you to grasp. So, today, again, it's not a day to be funny. It's just not. It's a day for all of us to sit and think and reflect. And listen, as much as these people don't represent white America, as much as we all agree this is wrong, okay, and these cops don't represent white people, well, you know what? These people only represent the anger that boiled over. That's not what Black America is in this country. It's not. And if that's what you're seeing, then maybe you're looking at the world in a wrong way. Everybody, just try to understand. That's all I can ask.